You know, it's been a busy and stressful year. I think I could do with some time at a nice spiritual retreat, perhaps with a very wise guru to teach me things.
Shut the fuck up, retard.
Yes, that pleasant fellow is Mr. Santos Bonacci, who has a website, universaltruthschool.com. It's all about syncretism, the sort of blending and melding of different religions together. Now, I don't follow any religion, but my understanding is religions tend to speak of love and peace, and not foul-mouthed tirades against people you haven't even met. Now, Craig, Fight the Flat Earth, had wanted to debate Santos and sent him an email. It wasn't too long before he had a response. Well, a little more than that. Why don't you tell us, Craig?
Why did you send me over 100 emails calling my mother a whore with a stinky vagina and threatening to kill me when I never once acted anything like that toward you?
So yes, that is Santos. He sent more than 100 emails full of bile and foul language and death threats.
Really?
Santos waffled for a bit and didn't seem to understand that Fight was upset at all these emails, and Santos seemed to think it's appropriate, having received an email that upset him from one person, that it's acceptable to send all this to someone entirely different. As Craig points out one more time,
The very first email you sent me was a barrage of disgusting, homophobic things, calling my mother all sorts of nasty names, followed by death threats.
So despite this despicable behaviour by Santos, Fight decided to try and go on with the debate. Now Santos, his little elf Dobby and the rest of their team struggled to get Zoom working. Then eventually, when things could proceed, they didn't seem to understand how a debate works. Craig was trying to tell them to go on.
Asking you to go. Off you go.
Hey, faggot, shut the fuck up.
And I think that's about the last we want to hear from Bonacci. I thought I'd do a bit of digging into who he is. Well, here's Santos's channel, Mr. Astrotheology. It's a mix of New Age stuff, astrology, and other assorted tripe, all with a dose of authentic frontier gibberish. And looking at his website, we can see that it's more of the same, really. And if we have a look at Santos, he covers all big topics like theology, astrotheology, natural science, astrology, reclaiming dominion, breaking the fictions of religion, science and law, and the holy science, an ancient science based on the workings of the solar system, which is the science of as above, so below. Yet a load of woo, but at face value, pretty harmless. In addition to his astrotheology, it turns out Santos is also a sovereign citizen. Being a sovereign citizen, he doesn't like following laws. He doesn't like the idea of driving licenses, parking fines, speeding fines and so on. And back in 2014, he was issued a warning. If you ignore this notice and do not pay the outstanding amount, the following actions may be taken against you. The seizure and sale of your personal property to recover amounts due. Your driver licence or motor vehicle registration may be suspended and or not renewed and or not transferred. Your vehicle may be immobilised, seized and sold. You may be subject to an attachment of earnings or an attachment of debts order. Your real estate may be subject to a charge order and sale. You may be arrested. Now, if I had run up a couple of $100 worth of debt, I think I would pay the fine pretty damn quick. What's that, Santos? It's not a couple of $100. How much is it then? $132,251.10. 130k. 483 infringements. Unbelievable. What do you think will happen if you owe over $130,000 and don't pay? You're going to get a visit.
Name sent over.
I'm not here to argue with you.
It's not a natural name. It's a
corporate trade name, and are you aiding and abetting me? Are you aiding and abetting me to commit fraud?
We need to ask you whether you can pay $132,251.
You need to seek. Can you pay?
Well, officer, I'm going for two answers. One, he can't pay, and two, even if he could, he won't.
Listen to me.
You need to ask the Attorney General because that's the Attorney General because that is a trade name, gentlemen.
Listen to me.
There's no contract with me. I am a human being.
Santos, when you say you're a human being, I'm just wondering how loose is that definition?
Under the authority of the warrant, okay, I'll be searching the premises, internal and external, for any...
You have no consent.
Oh, well, allow me to retort.
Consent is not required. That's what the warrant is for.
You have no consent.
I'll be searching the property.
You have no consent.
I will be searching the property for any assets.
You have no
consent. Yourself. If you're not going to comply, okay, you'll be arrested, okay?
What do you mean comply? You're talking to the witness.
Have you got any identification on
I do not have any ID. I do not have any ID. I'll tell you what I do have, and I will surrender it to you right now. And that is the only ID that you will get from me, which is proof of the fraud. You've got a corporate name, gentlemen. I have not hurt or injured anyone. Is there an injured party?
Okay, what we're doing now is...
Is there an injured party?
Well, my SovCit crayon muncher, I think you're about to find out that claiming you don't have contract, claiming that you don't give consent, and claiming that you're not Santos Bonacci but Santos of the Bonacci family ain't gonna help.
If you're going to hinder my execution,
I'm not hindering anything.
You will be...
Look at me. Am I hindering you?
Okay. I'm going to conduct a search of the property. You're welcome to show me through the property, and I'll be searching for any assets.
I will not help you to commit fraud. You are committing fraud as criminals, gentlemen. Gentlemen, yes, you are. You are searching Sonia Bonacci's property.
You're outstanding. If you're not, then we need to search for the property.
Well, Santos, you've made your free man on the land, sovereign citizen argument, and as for those sheriffs, I don't think that they give a shit. So, ignoring his phony baloney legal arguments, the officers proceed to search the property.
Don't hinder my execution. Hop out of my face. Don't hinder my execution.
No.
You have to stay away, all right?
Once the officers have finished, they lay down the options to Santos.
Based on the monetary amount outstanding, you're unable for any community work permits, okay? So the only option for you is now that you'll be arrested and released on bail in your own undertaking to appear before a magistrate's court at a date to be set by
I don't
yourself.
consent. I do not consent.
Oh no, you don't consent to being arrested. I wonder what the officers are going to do.
Okay.
All right, look, listen, please, brother. Please, you don't have to be like that. You don't have to be like that. I promise you I will consent. I promise you I will be
You're not going to consent to
accepting
you.
any... I will accept any of the things if you can prove the cause. Please, brother, do not do this.
Oh, dearie dear.
You're doing something illegal.
No, no, under the authority of the warrant, I'm not doing anything illegal.
You have a warrant for a person. You don't have a warrant for me, the individual.
Santos didn't pay his fine and has been threatened with a 3-year jail sentence for the failure to pay 483 fines for unpaid Eastlink and CityLink fees, as well as speeding fines. But it didn't end there. Bonacci had 2 acquaintances who were being investigated for drugs offences. Actually, they later pled guilty to drug trafficking. Anyway, he wasn't happy about this, so he started a campaign against the court. The Supreme Court judge last week sentenced Bonacci to 6 weeks in prison for reprehensible contempt of court. But he's on the run. During sentencing, Justice Stephen Kay said there was no alternative sentence for Bonacci's entirely unacceptable and reprehensible contempt of Victoria's justice system. Bonacci bombarded the court with abusive and threatening emails and called on his followers to do the same, publishing addresses for the judge, his associate and other county court staff. And it also used his internet radio show to promote his campaign. Justice Kay said the 7-week campaign was deliberate and inexcusable. Each successive email was more intemperate, abusive and threatening than its predecessor. The degree of abuse and obscene language contained in the emails was specifically directed to elevating the level of intimidation contained in these communications. Santos, I think that a bad case of the piles would be preferable to the foul-mouth abuse that comes out of your mouth. If anybody wants to see the full debate between him and Fight, I'll put a link up here. If I ever hear anything about you again, Santos, it will be too soon. By the way, how's your legal argument going with those sheriffs?
Hasta la vista, baby.
Shut up and sit down.